You go. We're starting off another Thursday of drawing. Letting the room open up. If you're here to draw with us, you're in the right place. We're just going over our little gripes of the week. Sprained ankles, broken washing machines.
Dishwasher.
Broken, busted radiators,
Just,
cold.
just real golden content here that we're bringing to the table.
Just kind of complaining about everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna let the room fill up and we're gonna get started in a second. This is kind of our like 120-second wait. Yeah. I actually had I woke up in the middle of the night the other night and our fire alarm was going off and our whole bedroom was full of what appeared to be smoke. And I ran into the hallway and there was like no smoke at all. And what had happened was our humidifiers like whatever to tell how the humidity level was broken. And it just, our room would just have like 95% humidity.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like it was like cloudy. Like, so yeah, it's house. It's, the tasks of keeping your house together, I guess.
Well,
John.
I'm a bit tatty because my daughter had an earache last night through the night, so I didn't get that much sleep.
Okay. John, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'm all set. Welcome, everybody. Cassandra, thank you for drawing with me tonight. I know we're going to have Bill and maybe another one or two come in and join us. Timmy, thanks for making sure we can all get in the room and that it comes off. Tonight, as always, we're going to be doing 4 poses. We are drawing tonight. Our topic, our reference comes from something really fun. It's Paris Fashion Week. And this was actually Timmy's idea. He threw at me and looked it up, and there is some unbelievable reference, some really fun stuff. First 20-minute pose. Erica Badu. I just love this shot. I started drawing it before. I wanted to get my values set up, and I mean, it's extreme value, that dark black, at least the way I want to handle it. That black against something so colorful. It's just a beautiful silhouette of that figure. Really love it. So I'm gonna have fun trying to finish this thing. Next, from the Louis Vuitton collection, that is a really interesting photograph. That portrait, the light on it, beautiful short loop light there, with that shadow underneath, that hard cast shadow underneath the nose. Beautiful, beautiful lighting scenario. Should be fun to draw. And that for the third pose, you're going to have your choice of Dojo Cat.
It's a wild picture.
Timmy told us this is a Schiaparelli collection. The Italian perspective.
I'm Italian.
But that's just that's an interesting bit of makeup there. Pretty amazing.
A lot of texture to paint.
Yeah. And then the last is it Timmy, is it Kid Cudi or I know you're gonna.
I love that. Before that, you said Dojo Cat, and it's Doja Cat, and Kid Cudi. It's okay.
Okay.
We don't expect you to cover all
kids these days. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to say. Kids these days. What look at the light on that head and the temperature, that cool temperature. It's really beautiful. So anyway, we're set to draw. We will be doing those 3 poses, 20, 20, and 40 minutes. In between poses, please post your work to hashtag the Drawing Hive. This will be our 3rd week in the Drawing Hive using that hashtag, and it's starting to build. I assume we have close to 400 posts in there now. It's getting up there.
Yeah, and if you want to join us on Discord tonight, I'm dropping an invite link there. If you don't know what Discord is, don't worry about it. Just ask questions in the Q&A on Zoom and we're all set.
Cool, very cool. So, we don't have anything. I'm just gonna stop sharing and I guess Cassandra and I are drawn.
Yeah. I know
Yep.
Bill's gonna be in a few minutes and then
We got a big group here tonight too, so.
might get a few more East Coasters in the room, I think.
All right, well, Cassandra, I've cheated again. But man, I really needed to. This is a tough issue.
Oh, wow, that looks awesome.
And what I wanted to do, what I wanted to get done is I wanted to get my value structure so I could actually get somewhere on this thing. All of this black working in pastel, it's not the most ideal thing to be doing with
You have to hold on to that pink.
yeah, there's no way if I wasn't fairly considerate on putting this black in, I couldn't get anywhere. I'm no Gary Kelly, so.
John, you picked a very colorful set of images for tonight, which is not always the case for your selection.
No, usually a lot of the stuff I'm looking at, I'm usually not even really thinking about color. I'm just thinking about the lighting and the pose. This is a totally different animal because, you know, color is so much about it. Fashion world. Cassandra's going to answer all the questions tonight.
Ha
Yeah.
ha.
I did just want to remind people, if you do have questions, please put us to work, ask, let us know if we can give you some advice on process or approaching any of these images. And you've got some great resources right now. John, is that a pretty fun hat to draw?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say it's one of the easier hats?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty flat. I mean, as far the shape of it's really flat, the way it sits on the picture plane, the cowboy hats at an angle can just like drive me nuts because they can look so awkward. Getting the hat shape right is really important. Making it feel like it fits on the head. I think I'm pretty good.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Trying to get a little bit of, you know, there's such extreme difference in color and value between the pink and the black. I was trying to put a little bit of like a burnt umber in between so that it wasn't just so cold. Made a nice transition, a softer transition.
Right. Trying to get the whole figure on my cardboard and I keep realizing I need more space.
Is there any chance you go get like a cardboard extension?
Right, just like add another part up here.
Or just unfold the box that you're working on.
So someone in the chat said the Doja Cat photo is giving them a bit of trypophobia. Are you familiar with
Oh
that?
yeah, that would totally be a trypophobia thing.
Well, I had to look it up. I didn't know what it was. And according to clevelandclinic.org, it's the disgust or fear of a pattern of holes. So technically, correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of the opposite of trypophobia, right?
Because what is it? What was your definition?
It's the disgust or fear of a pattern of holes.
Yeah, but because of the shadows, it gives that impression. So I can totally, that would totally set, my husband and his sister both like react to that. Like if you show them like a lotus flower pod or like a beehive, that always gets them.
Really?
Yeah.
As visual artists, do you feel like there's an uneasiness that you can experience when you see things that either maybe from a design do you think you're more susceptible to that kind of uneasiness or that sensation of feeling uneasy because of patterns or things that just you're like, ugh?
No, that doesn't bother me at all. I love patterns.
Yeah. How about lack of pattern? Like chaos.
Just feels bland.
Somebody said maybe it's more of dermatosiophobia. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe. We've got Raymond Benia in here now.
Hey, Ray.
Hey, Ray.
Hey gang, talking
How you
about
doing?
we're talking about irrational fears or something. What are we doing today?
Nobody said it was irrational.
Oh,
No, we're somebody said the Doja Cat's fashion, like I don't even know what you would call it, the studded,
She's got like pebbled skin that matches the pattern on her dress.
There was a certain kind of crystal, they called it, that's what it actually is.
pretty amazing.
ah,
And then I saw that Doja Cat had an outfit that was real. I love Doja Cat. I mean, I love her music, but also I just think she's hilarious. But the following night, I guess she wore like eyelashes in place of like eyebrows and a mustache, and it is so trippy. It's so cool. I really highly recommend looking it up.
I feel like you need to show us.
Yeah, I didn't understand it for a bit. Like I saw it and I was like, there's something strange. And then it wasn't until I read the title, and I was like, oh, those are eyelashes. Yeah, I'll look it up. Ray, what have you been working on this week?
a multitude of things. I'm working on a solo show for November at My Bomb Fine Arts, and so that's been taking up the majority of my time. And actually, this week I also had the lovely privilege of chatting with a bunch of illustration students from you might not know them, the illustration students, but you know their teacher, Don Kilpatrick.
You were at the Society of Illustrators show.
No, I was actually
Oh, no, you were at
I talked at
CC.
CCS. Yeah. So that was really good. I got to talk about my work, and Don had invited me to chat
So were you
about that, and just
was it digital or were you in Detroit?
no, it was just digital, but my heart's always in Detroit.
Do you have a Detroit connection?
Yeah, my buddy Don lives there.
That's the way Don
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, it's this. Yeah.
It's this. Yeah. It's my soul. Soul connection. He actually didn't even, John, you can give him what for. He actually double booked, and he only was there for the beginning, and then he just left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you
So
believe that?
So I just read the headline. This is the image. There were complaints that the red outfit that she had didn't have any eyelashes. And so this was the following day. Can you guys not see this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it. My
Yeah.
That is wild.
Which
is wild.
Me telling you that it's eyelashes kind of is what ruins, like, it's just that if you look at it, you're like, what? Something strange.
Yeah. I just wanted to go. I mean, I don't want people to think that Don just bailed. I mean, he actually was super apologetic about it. But so I didn't want to be like, yeah, never talk to the CCS students. You could talk to the CCS students, just don't go through Don Kilpatrick.
Well, I get, that gold medal he just won, that's changing his attitude about everything.
It's weighing him down, you know. I said, hey, do you have the gold medal? He had just got back. He's like, as a matter of fact, I do. It was in my jacket. I'm like, what are the chances?
That's funny.
Good for him, though. I was like, hey, man. They actually have it like on a lanyard now that goes over your neck. Which is actually really good.
I got one around here somewhere. That they used to give them to you in a case.
Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. Is the one on the case.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that kind of like, actually, I didn't even get one in the case. I got it on a little stand that twirled around.
the earlier ones that came in a case, and
You're talking about
Sterling very kindly had one made for me from all my students that won 3 gold medals. It's a couple of years ago, and it's on the lanyard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was that when Leslie and
Leslie, Edward,
Ted?
and Sterling. Yeah.
It's for anybody.
Yeah, I was there.
For anybody wondering, they're talking about the Society of Illustrators.
Well, you were there you weren't there when Sterling and I were there. We went to the second half of the show. I was there for Sterling's. I presented Sterling's to him, and he presented the Richard Gangle Award to Eric Skillman.
Wow,
And it was pretty cool.
that's pretty cool.
If anybody doesn't know, he's like the art director everybody wants to work for right now. He's the art director at Criterion Collection.
He looks like a younger George Pratt.
Yeah, he reminds me of George quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's your level, Ray, but as far as like illustration history, he's pretty good.
Oh, really?
He knows a lot. Yeah.
He's not on my level.
No,
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Eric.
I'm just, I'm being careful. I'm being kind to everybody in the room. How do I say this and not offend Ray?
I'm sure he knows. Yeah, and Eric
comes
and,
back to me tomorrow. Skillman's on the phone with me. I can't believe me.
Yeah.
I can't believe you dissed me on your little drawing night.
yeah. And then like it's like I was about to ask you if you'd be perfect for a project I got, but I guess I don't. I guess I'm too dumb. No, I only met him for a really short time, but it seemed super nice.
Yep.
Very
really knowledgeable about illustration, which I think, that's a good attribute as an art director.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
So I know, John, you've looked at a lot of the photo ref. You just look at a lot of photos from Paris Fashion Week. But Ray, Cassandra, did you guys follow it at all or see anything that you thought was interesting? Or?
Well, I know that Animal Head fashion was getting
Torch?
kind of uproar.
Yeah, John picked that photo of Kylie Jenner, and I was like, nah. I was like, let's not. I
mean, it's faux, but it was getting there was some talk about that.
We decided not because we have like a strong opinion on it, but it was just like one of those things where like, I don't know. It's just, let's not open up that can of worms.
So you did anyway. And,
Well, what
I wasn't there for the conversation.
no, but we're not forcing anybody to draw it
I get it. I'm kidding.
or like it, which I
Well,
saw.
I think-
I felt sad. I
Yeah,
felt
'cause
like
Because
when I
when I
saw,
look- what- oh, I'm sorry, Timmy.
oh, I'm sorry. When I saw it though, the lion head thing, it did bob. Like it kind of was and maybe that's maybe that's interesting. Maybe that makes for interesting art. I reacted to it really fast, and I do know that PETA was very defensive of it as a statement, but I don't know. But we decided not to because we're like, let's just not make people draw stuff they don't want to draw.
Well, but I thought it was just, because you sent me there, so I read, I just start reading about it as I'm looking for the pictures as I'm Googling everything. And the first thing that comes up is they're supposed to be like an homage to the planet, is what they're suggesting from the fashion week, which ironically, and again, I don't want to get into too much politics, but the fashion industry is not the best thing in the world for the planet. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. And then the first photo I see is Kylie Jenner and a lion. And I'm like, what the? I mean, who was thinking about this?
Yeah, it seemed like maybe if it was meant to be a statement, was maybe clunky with the execution.
Yeah.
But I certainly reacted to it. And I don't know.
I think it did its job then.
Yeah.
I told John, I said, whoever the salesperson is that got Kylie Jenner to do that, we need that salesperson. Fascinated by the person that's like, Kylie, you got it. like,
But isn't that like the whole thing is they want to stick out. They want to be controversial. I mean, think of J-Lo's Grammy dress from like 20 years ago and people still remember it.
Yeah. That was people were that people talked about that. Isn't that wild how different the news cycle is now? I remember that Grammy dress and people the media didn't stop talking about that for like months.
Yeah, I mean, I remember she brought it back out like 15 years later or something. And and people were just like, oh yeah, that's such a nice dress. Like in comparison, like everybody had done so much more crazier fashion, but at the time that had been wild.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, that was back during a wilder time when Titanic was in movie theaters for like 18 months.
You never thought you would stop hearing Celine Dion.
Yeah, it was just a different.
Xander just posted it. Yeah, Xander, that's the dress I was thinking of.
So think about this though. I mean, I may be the only one in here that knows this, but the amount of time that Star Wars was in the movie theaters. I mean, the original, it was insane. People from my generation saw it. It wasn't uncommon to see it 20 times.
Wow.
That's cool.
Reminds me of like the Matrix when it first came out for my generation.
Ray, I was thinking of seeing it wasn't the Phantom Menace. It was when they like redigitized the Star Wars. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Of course, the special editions. Yeah, Drew Struzan did all the posters for it.
Yeah, so I remember I was telling my brothers this. I was like, do you remember going to see that when we were really little and the theater was just like packed? And I was like, and I remember I had to sit on dad's lap. That was how packed it was. I was like, this theater like oversold tickets.
Wow.
And
my mom couldn't find tickets until the third one.
They didn't believe me because they said there was a 0% chance my dad ever took me to see Star Wars. No way he took you to that movie. He didn't have much of a sci-fi.
Hey guys.
Hey Bill.
Those were the days when your parents would drop you off at the movies and leave you for several hours. some mall or
Yep. I
some
remember.
theater.
You could just watch all the Billy Wilder you want.
What was that?
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ray. Thanks, Ray.
Sneak out of Star Wars.
You had to be there, didn't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
that started quick. That started quick.
Yes, I would ditch Star Wars and go see Some Like It Hot, you know.
Yeah, back when movies were great. Back when they didn't have audio.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, somebody
funny.
just shared the Drew Struzan.
That's hilarious to me.
He ended up having it so that it was all like connected and everything.
Can you
It's
give
pretty
us
wild.
Can you give us some Drew Struzan history, Ray?
Well, I mean,
Are you?
I don't know if I'd be. Yeah, I know I'm pretty familiar with this work and his career for the most part. I mean, so he was considered one of the great movie poster illustrators of his time. He basically took the mantle, or he was the next generation of illustrators that took the mantle of the late Richard Amsel, who was known for doing the original Indiana Jones. He did the Sting. He did a whole bunch of things. Mad Max. I mean, he was
guide covers.
yeah.
Amsel
I
guide
love the
covers.
TV
A
guys.
billion TV guide covers.
Lots of TV guide covers.
He's a Blade
So-
Runner.
Go ahead, Ray.
Well, so Amsel was like the guy, and everyone was kind of popularized one of the illustrators, I would think, popularized the use of it basically took like an updated version of like an oil painting method where you, instead of like you do an underpainting and then you do glazes and you build it up and with like scumbles of color and everything like that. Instead, he updated it and made it kind of illustration worthy as a technique. So he used an airbrush and to glaze his colors in over like a dark monochromatic underdrawing, and then scumbled or over with color pencils. And so Struzan and a lot of illustrators of his time, really, they all were doing that type of style, but he really kind of took it and ran with it and did his own thing with it, adding all these effects and things like that. And yep, there's one. Yep, that's the one where I think he realized, like, I think he said that for the Temple of Doom, he figured out how to do fire really nicely. Like once he figured out, my teacher said, like, you could tell when Drew figured out how to do fire really well, because that's all you saw was like every time any opportunity he had to do it, he threw it in. Fun fact, I actually saw that original. I was like in real life.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a Bob Peak and Drew Struzan show in Los Angeles.
If you don't know, Bob Peak was like, he was his predecessor as the top
Movie poster
guy.
How big
course,
is the
yeah.
piece?
They're like I think they're whatever double the original movie poster sizes, I think. At or
Okay.
double.
Okay, Ray. So where was the show that you saw? Was that San Francisco that you saw the?
No, this was in the in LA at the cemetery. Oh my God, why am I blanking? It was it's a cemetery that the person who owned the cemetery was so wealthy that he built an art museum to house all of his art. So he has like a famous Bouguereau, the one with the angels in violins, like playing for the baby Jesus. He's got a whole bunch of other things. I think it's the Grove Cemetery.
Oh, wow.
Let me see here. So they had a whole show of all the originals. So I saw a bunch of the stuff. I saw Apocalypse Now. I saw a bunch of the Superman stuff. Some of the comps for Star Trek, of course. Not many of the originals for those. They might have sold a lot of them, but a lot of drawings from Bob Peak, and then a lot of originals from Struzan. Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, so he did a comp for Blade Runner, and John Alvin's the one that actually did the finish. And Alvin did E.T., he did Aladdin, he did RoboCop, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So Struzan actually did.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Say again?
I was saying, I saw his Blade Runner piece as a book cover.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what it was. He said that's what like it ended up being used as like a book cover, and then he redid it for like the special edition that came out, and I saw that piece too, which was pretty awesome. The whatever anniversary that Ridley Scott had used in the final cut. That's what it was, the final cut.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge
how-
Struzan fan.
Were you in art school at the time when you saw that?
No, this was after. So I had came back to flew to LA because I was fortunate enough to win a bunch of awards from the Society of Illustrators Los Angeles, and Tyler Jacobson, my good friend, had won as well, and we both agreed that if each other won awards, if we both won awards, we would both fly to LA to accept them, which was pretty sweet. And so I heard about this show, and I was like, we have to go to this show. Like there's no way, like, I don't know the next time I'm ever going to see a Drew Struzan original, much less a Bob Peak and Drew Struzan show, for goodness sake. So we went, and it was incredible. That museum's also got like this crazy big painting of like the trials of Jesus Christ. It's like I can't explain the piece was so large, I had to be wrapped around a telephone pole to be transported.
Wow.
Yeah, it's only like they built an entire theater just to house it. I mean, and
Wow.
it's like they only show it for a certain amount of time. Then they close the curtains on it. It's a whole thing. You sit down, it's free, and like it's like the lights go down, and they tell you this whole story of how they acquired it and who it was from, and
Very
I think
cool.
it's called the Glen Cove. Let me see. It's Timmy. I'll send you the information if I can find it.
Something very kind of peep show about that description.
Okay, so Ray, I'm going to tell you, I love your story, and I can't compete with that, seeing all that stuff. But when I was like 15 years old, only time I ever went to Bob Peak's studio, I saw every one of his Apocalypse pieces all lined up on the wall. It was
Timmy, can we cut John's mic? It's
With what pieces?
all the posters. for
all the Apocalypse Now.
Oh God.
He did like 20 of them. I don't know
Unbelievable.
the exact number, but they were everywhere.
On that, we got to move on to the next pose. No,
Yeah,
I
thanks,
really
Timmy.
love the design of your piece.
all right, so everybody, please post your work to Instagram. Use the hashtag #DrawingHive and tag @VisualArtsPassage. And just a reminder, only use Drawing Hive for drawing with us on these nights. Don't use it to get likes on a Tuesday.
Or on a new landscape painting that you.
I know, I
just
did that.
finished
I
up.
apologize. That was I know. I won't do it again. I won't.
John's like, do as I say, not as I do.
All right.
John,
Reminded me.
Just Josh.
John, you were saying that.
Yeah, sorry, John. So you saw you actually saw
I saw
all of the
original-
posters, all the.
And what I was amazed at, and thinking, looking back on it now, again, I always say I wish I would have known more about what I was looking at. But I could not believe when I would think back on it, the amount of work that he put into it was unbelievable. How much they asked from him to do that. I mean, I know he got paid a lot of money to do it, but the amount of labor he put in to make, those things aren't small. You saw a couple of the originals, right?
Yeah, they're huge.
They're good size.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember I don't have the actual size, but they're huge.
I bet they
I mean,
were like on a 40, some of them 40 inches tall, you know? At
yeah,
least.
some of them easily. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? The cool thing to me about that series is that there are some pieces in that series that are very non-Bob Peak like. You know, like the ones with where Kurtz is pouring water over his water kind of coming over his head.
Before you
Yeah.
guys, before you
What?
guys, before you guys tackle that question, can I ask, when you say not Bob Peak like, can you kind of,
They weren't indicative of his style or voice as an illustrator at the time. But I think it was Bill, my answer to that would be, I think it was a transitional thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think the guy that I think his heart was so into that project, you know, and then
Yeah,
because he did some things that were very, you know, like trying to think of the name of the movie with the Jack Nicholson where it looked like
Missouri Breaks.
the Missouri Breaks poster. Like that thing I thought was so different, you know, so different from other stuff he was doing. And then his Mother Teresa that he did for Time Magazine, all of that stuff, it was like it was kind of all connected. It was all him kind of really growing and doing different things.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so Bob Peak, well, I would say Bob Peak, like if you think of like the Star Trek Search for Spock poster, there's sort of the sort of what you would call like a lens flare sort of thing with his flourish and
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams before J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
yes.
You know how he did that? The technique he did that? And the only reason I know it's because I was so close to him. That's pastel.
Yeah, no,
Huh.
I can see that.
Oh,
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, no, I knew that. And just and the pastel and then sort of like, and I remember there was a step by step on him, you know, where he was I mean, I found his stuff through Bill Sienkiewicz, who was, you know, very heavily influenced in some areas of his work by him. And
Bob was a really good artist. I mean, you know, it wasn't, you know, some of it was very flashy and techniquey at times, but he could do some things that had a really interesting emotional content to it at times too.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like the Camelot poster is such a beautiful and different thing. His Superman poster, the thinking behind the Superman poster, to me,
Yeah, that was there.
it's
at the
one of the
show.
most brilliant.
Really? You saw that? I never saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
the one that
of
came
the-
going through the
Wow.
clouds. Yeah.
But yeah, so like just like see the light, like the flares and like the boat and kind of the things like, but there's some pieces of his with the where Kurtz, the Marlon Brando character, is just sort of in the water in this very dark black thing, and it almost, I mean, to me it looks like a completely different artist. And I mean, I hear you about a transitional period.
this poster's for sale. It's all folded up. $1,200.
Well, that's it right there.
Wow.
Yeah, and he did pieces of that with just like the helicopters and the sun and
Yeah.
you
There's
know.
there's a whole bunch of there was one where it's a little bit more, I think the one you're describing, Bill, is like the one where he it's like pretty realistic colors, like true to the photo reference, and it's just his head.
Yeah. And
there it is. I just
Are you sharing it?
I put it on the Discord. Oh wait, actually I could share it on my own screen. This is the one I saw.
yeah, so
Ooh.
Hey. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
It's only $212,000, so we can
Yeah, we can pull
I
money
mean,
and make that happen.
because do you see what I'm saying about that piece and how it's so different?
oh yeah, because it was there across from it was this one.
Right. So but not that Superman poster, because that's gorgeous, but the one with just like the streak going through it.
Yeah, and this one too. There was a whole bunch of Superman stuff.
That one blows me away. And I've seen that without the S on it too. like to me, that's one of the most brilliant like illustrations of that era. Because that tells you everything without showing you anything.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about like that, and then across from it stylistically was that, that you could tell that he was just really hitting hard on like just trying to do different things.
I do have a question. What's up with the dimensions of this?
Yeah.
When were movie posters
Isn't crazy?
built like
Nice.
scroll? Like, yeah.
Ooh,
But he
I
went
wonder-
through a lot of
is
transitions in his life.
is that Bob Peak?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh wow.
I
I've
like
never
the
seen that
face-
one.
I like the face that the sub makes at the bottom.
Oh man. I love that. Like, oh man, that's so great. I love
This-
those long posters.
This was just like, we need everybody to
It's like
know,
the DeLorean.
like, don't you think that this was part of like selling the movie? The marketing team was like, we need people to know that there's an underwater car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Ray, I'm gonna tell you this story because I think you'll get a real kick out of it. It's the first time I went to the Illustrators Workshop, and Bob Peak, the first time I had ever like listened to him speak to an audience, and he wore these like, it was so different from everybody else at the time. He had this like red round sunglasses, and he had this like white bouffant hair. And he was a pretty extreme looking guy. I mean, very cool looking guy. And somebody in the audience asked him a question. He said, "Mr. Peak, how does an art director hire you? What usually happens?" And he was such a pompous guy. I mean, I not literally. I mean, he could project that really well. He stood there for a second and kind of looked up, ran his hand through his hair, and he said, "Well, the art director's got this assignment to do the biggest, most expensive movie ever made. And he's probably thinking to himself, who's the biggest, most expensive illustrator that could do this for me?" And then they call me. So it was like everybody in the room just was like, and he pulled it off really well. It was funny.
Oh my God. I
That's
listen,
really
I will
funny.
have made it. I will have made it if I can, if I could pull off that answer. I have to do
show the
that.
next. He designed a Porsche, didn't he?
I don't know if he did or not.
I thought, or I've read that he's credited with designing the Porsche.
I was gonna say, I bet that there's an engineer that would disagree with that pretty strong.
I'm just saying.
No, he's not the only one. Kobe Whitmore designed a couple of cars. I mean, they were really
No
into
way.
cars. Yeah. They had the only time that I went to the only house that I went to of his was in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And he had a car in his like downstairs. It was like in his house. And it was something he designed. It was very, very cool.
That
John.
reminds me of like a,
Oh, there you
go
go.
ahead. Oh, there it is. Like you see that? If I had that much hair at that age, which I don't, and it's not okay, I would be flaunting it left and right.
I don't think
It would just be waving.
I'll go ahead and say it. The people with that much hair at that age, you should be careful around them. They're
Why is that to me?
no, it's the trust thing. No, John, I was gonna ask you which version of Bob Peak did you know Mo? Like, did you?
He looked like no, that was probably when I was born.
Okay.
That's probably in the 60s. That's probably
Okay.
1980s. That's where I knew him.
Yeah.
That's
Ray,
what he looked like when I knew him.
Ray and John, you'll appreciate this because you love Alec Baldwin. I've been watching 30 Rock, and Alec Baldwin, something bad happens, and he goes, "God, why are you doing this to me? Is it because my hair is better than yours?"
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. He went to Tina Fey's 40th
Yeah.
birthday party, and she was, this was on the show, or maybe his 30th birthday party. And she was like, "What are you doing here?" He's out on the floor dancing. And she's just horrified that he's there. And says, "You're too old to be here." And his response was, "Hey, rich 50, it's the new 30. Such a great delivery.
I mean, I remember hearing Robert Handel speak at the Academy of Art when I was there. And he had kind of the same sort of what was the word you used, John, when you're describing peak talking?
Pompous.
Pompous, yes.
Bob wasn't pompous. Bob was, he was pretty humble guy. He was very confident, but
yeah, but it was something that he could exude, I think.
But I think it came very naturally to Bob. He was just a cool dude. I mean, the guy was just, he looked like, he acted like,
look at that hair.
James Coburn. He looked like a movie star.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm referring to Heindel, the guy.
Yeah.
He had the it factor.
Yeah.
I just love the
factor.
fact that he was smoking in Bradley Hall, which was a non-smoking room, and then nobody could really say anything about him to it.
I love that. I heard a story once. John Russia told me a story when he was in school. He at Art Center, Al Parker came to go speak to the students, and he had said, like, they were like, "Mr. Parker, so what's your day-to-day like?" And he's like, how do you know, like, how do you decide how much work you want to do? And he's like, well, and his answer was, well, I really like BMWs. And so I go down to the BMW place to see if there's any new ones. And if there is, then I go and do an illustration.
Hilarious.
And he's like, can you imagine as a student hearing that?
Yeah, that's maybe
that
not
was
the healthiest thing.
That's not very helpful.
Anyway,
For
take
health.
your time.
Here's realistic expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's really not what my life looks like,
yeah.
It's like it wasn't, he purposely was he was like, he wanted somebody to ask him about his car that was sitting in the parking lot,
when I was going into photography though, that was like the classic thing that if you talked with anybody who'd been in the industry a little bit longer, it became like a joke that they would refer to like the glory days and like what they got on a job or a commercial or whatever. Right. And it just kept growing and growing. And then they'd be like, yeah, they used to spend, 70 grand on just craft services. It was just, it would just get to a point where you're like, right, yeah. Like, but they'd be like, now, we got to do a whole commercial for like $100.
Well, there's on the other side of that though, Timmy, a lot of those photographers made a ton of money.
Yeah. No, it's not true, but it became hyperbolic. And there was a moment where that did happen where I started to notice like, oh yeah, that they weren't getting that dollar, but they did. The biggest change when you talk about that, John, with photography is photographers used to be able to retire on their residuals, and that does not exist at the level.
Well,
wow.
in defense of Peak, I was
what I said has nothing to do with those guys.
Oh, I know. I was just going to say in defense of me calling him pompous, which I shouldn't, because he was very, very nice to me. He just had this, he projected something that wouldn't be popular now, I don't think. But he pulled it off really well.
Yeah.
John, don't worry. I'll cut that. I'll cut that correction out of the final.
Okay.
We're all fans of Bob Peak here.
But in all reality, the guy lived in probably what today is a $10 million house in Greenwich, Connecticut, and had an apartment in New York, and drove a Ferrari, a Maserati, and a Rolls Royce in his driveway.
And
so something happened.
He did
Something-
okay,
yes.
he did all right, you
Yeah.
know?
I'm
He
not
did
kidding you
okay.
about all of that stuff. He had a
No, David Grove told me that he once visited Bernie Fuchs and met him out in Greenwich Village, and they were in a cafe sitting talking, and all of a sudden he heard this car just roaring around the corner, and like he looks over his shoulder and he sees his Rolls Royce blasting in the by, and the driver has got this scarf, white gloves, white suit, right, with the white scarf, and it's flapping in the wind and it's just peeling off. And then he looks at Bernie Fuchs and he goes, "That was peak."
That's yeah. I don't know. That was a different time for cars too.
Yeah, but
That was a different time. That was a different time for cars.
Wasn't it?
Okay.
I mean,
he had a Ferrari 365 GT. That car, I mean, if one in good condition now, is one of the most collectible automobiles in the world.
but I have a question. Like a person that, I mean, I guess I'm probably splitting hairs with this question, but I would say that a person today that gets a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari is, oh man, I'm trying to word this right. Back the cost of a supercar in the 60s is pretty different than today, right, John?
Right.
Or-
Yeah, except the.
I'm not saying that it was not extremely flashy and it was
Right.
not extremely huge, like braggadocious way to show how wealthy you were, but I think it's reached new heights today.
Oh, absolutely.
Does that make sense? It didn't. I don't know.
Oh,
think
I agree with that. I mean, you know, the price of homes were a lot less expensive too. I mean, even proportionally. But the
still a Ferrari though.
it was a Ferrari 365 GTD.
Yeah.
It was like one of the most impressive cars ever made.
I have a friend who bought a pretty, this is a few years ago, bought a Porsche that was not a like not an entry level Porsche. It was a ridiculous purchase. It was insane, and he had just had a kid too. And
Oh my gosh.
he goes, I had to get this one because it's one of the only models that you can put a car seat in. Like, really? That's why you had to get it? Yeah. He had it for like a month.
But you know, my dad was he was a mechanical designer, and he was not an engineer. It was a different thing. And he had a friend, I forget what my Uncle Bob did, his best friend did. But my dad would tell me a story about how, you know, they would go into a car dealership, and his friend Bob like went in, put down cash and bought outright a Porsche in you know, the late 1950s. So
that was a different world, Bill, because
yeah,
you know, I remember having this conversation with my father the last years of his life, and he said, you know, he had bought, he remembered from 73 or 75 buying a new Mercedes, and it was $12,000 for the top line Mercedes. And that's, you know,
Even if you do inflation, it's
even with inflation, it's not what Timmy was saying is correct. It's not
right, exactly. So I think it's a very different,
right.
I think it's a very different time, you know. And the thing with my uncle Bobby is, this is the 1950s, and my Uncle Bobby was Mexican, and they didn't want to even talk to him, you know. So I think it was a point of pride when he was able to just plop down the cash and say, okay, I'm gonna take that one, you know. But that was much more, I think, much more common thing to be able to happen than it is now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've always been in. Ray, do you care much about cars or have a fascination with cars? Or
I mean, I no, but I do respect a good looking car though.
Yeah, John, you've
If
always
that makes sense.
I've always liked cars, but I just have never been able to afford the ones I really like. I was really excited when I bought a new Subaru.
you've had, haven't you had some cool cars like
I have, but
not like I'm not saying you
not like
Ooh, that Ferrari?
not exotics.
no, not exotics, but like you drove like when you were young, didn't you drive like a FJ?
I've had a number of Land Cruisers and I've had some fun BMWs and
Your dad was more of a car guy, wasn't
I
he?
can proudly say I've never driven a reliable car in my whole life. I've only
That's
I've
as a
only
parent, as a parent, that's not a proud thing. I would be terrified
I
yeah.
can't believe
for
nobody's
my
talking
kid.
about the awesomeness of minivans.
Oh, I appreciate a cool minivan.
I've had a couple of good minivans, Cassandra.
They rock.
They were unbelievably efficient for the purpose. But
All minivans have the sliding door on both sides now. Is that
I don't know.
I would
I-
think so, but I don't know.
I had Toyotas, I had Toyota Siennas, and I don't.
I have a Odyssey.
I had a RAV4, which I really like.
Yeah, those are great. My daughter had one for school. They were fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great car, you know. It's
My favorite car I thought was the coolest car when I was a kid was Fred Ottness had a black XK wire, chrome wires. That thing was so beautiful. And
what is an XK? I'm not.
an XKE. I think they're one of the prettiest cars ever made. And my father used to make fun of them. He said you would go to Fred's house and he would get up in the morning, and if it was a nice day, he would park his car in front of his house. He was so in love with that car
That's hilarious.
and his house.
I drive the same car that I drove in high school.
That's amazing.
Jimmy, as your
Right.
friend, I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, I did have to jump
I just
it.
hope
I have to jump it twice today. And if I have to meet John for a class at say like tonight at 5:30, I don't go anywhere after 3 p.m. because it's kind of an unknown, you know.
Oh.
Yeah,
He doesn't
like-
do well with temperature changes at night.
Yeah, you know, proudly say, John, you've never gotten a call from me being like, sorry, man, I'm on the side of Warnell Road.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's coming, Timmy. It's coming.
Yeah, it is. The clock
You
is.
should knock us on wood.
Timmy, you deserve a reliable car. You work really hard.
No, I love the car that I drive. It's fun.
It's a point of pride for him, Bill. Like you can hear it. Like
I
Yeah.
know.
I enjoy it. I buy little parts. I fix parts on it. You know, it's.
I think we should focus on that being the problem. Okay.
You know, like it's a Jeep Wrangler, and you know, like Jeep Wranglers, it's like the last generation, I feel like, of cars where you could just get like the door handles broke, and there's like 20 different door handles I could just replace it with. They're like $20.
that's true. That's really true.
Like
We go to Kansas City, Cassandra, right? You, me, and Bill were walking around. We see this Jeep Wrangler with like 2 different door handles, 3 different like rear view mirrors,
I match
like
them.
all different tires. And I'm
Wait,
like,
you're
who is that?
describing my childhood, actually, because my dad, before he got into like computers and securities, he was a mechanic. So like there was always like new old cars that he'd be fixing up, and it was like Frankensteining parts. I remember my car was like an 89 Mazda 323 and had over 200,000 miles on it. Like my dad took it away from me when it hit 234 because he was like, it's just I'm nervous. But then he was driving it, and I had to get a new used car. But there was this time, actually, John, I don't think I ever told you the story, but it was when I was going to Illustration Academy for the first time that I came home to my apartment and my car was gone. And so I was like, oh no. But then I was also like, I had to just grab something and run back to Illustration Academy. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to call the police when I get home. So then I ran back and like, I think we were about to do critiques or something. We did critiques. And then I came back home and my car was back, but it was backwards in my neighbor's parking spot. And so then I called the police and I was like, somebody stole my car. And they're like, all right, give me the make and model. And I was like, well, the thing is, so I gave them all of that. I was like, but my car is back. And then she was just like, well, honey, why are you calling me? And I was like, I don't know. Like, what if it was used in a robbery or something? I just want you all to know, like, what happened. So then, like, I got a call back a couple days later from like a detective that had apparently been on my case, even though he never came out to see my car or anything. And he was like, ma'am, we've been on your case and we've been discussing it, and you just need to get the club. And that was the solution.
Well, what's interesting about that is that whoever stole your car didn't want it.
Yeah, they brought it back and put it in a different parking spot.
That's funny. They just had an errand to run.
But it
It might
was
have
one
been
of those old
Timmy.
cars, and my dad freaked out and he was like, oh, what if somebody like can use your keys or something? So then he took locks off of a different car and then put it on my car of a different make. And then I had this big key that to unlock my car, and then I'd use a different key to start the ignition because of that. So like, you know, that Frankenstein style car is like my childhood.
I didn't know you could do that with a car, like take the lock off of one car. And I mean, it
Oh,
doesn't make
yeah.
total sense to me
Okay.
now.
Like all I need to get into my Jeep, like I've locked, I mean, because I jumped from a Ford Escape, like Gianna's car, which is like a modern car, to my car, constantly locking my keys in the Jeep Wrangler. Because it's like one car just works, you just sit in it and you just have to have a key nearby. And then the other one, it's like, you better, like I locked the keys in the Jeep while it was running.
Jimmy, why don't you tell us all how
Lucky.
you break into
You know what's crazy though? I was lucky it wasn't in my garage because I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was just reading an article that there's like certain series of Hyundai and Kia that's like certain insurance companies won't cover because they're so easy to break in. They're tired of like paying for the car's replacement.
Oh, wow.
About that.
Cassandra, I bought a Kia years ago that I still have, that for my son to go to high school, you know, to drive to high school and to practice and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I still have it. And I wish somebody would steal it.
Well, if it's
tell me more
between
about
the
that.
2013 and 2021 and it's an automatic starter, that is like 13-year-olds can break into it apparently.
Oh yeah.
Mine's
John's
older
address
than-
is.
Yeah. Do you guys all know how to drive stick shift? John, I know you know how.
Oh yeah, that was my first car. It was a stick shift.
Ray, are you an auto guy?
Well, I don't want to be put on the spot. Okay. So I'm gonna
That's a no.
I'm gonna
Plead the fifth.
refrain from take the fifth, plead the fifth. Yeah. I'm gonna abstain from this voting.
Hooray. That's a no.
Yeah.
I always had a stick shift up until my minivan because like it was just minivans didn't come in stick shifts.
This is kind of funny. My friend let me borrow his car when I was in college. That was a stick shift. He gave me the most brief lesson on it. And then was just like, all right, man, you're good. And so I drove to the grocery store, and then I'm like in this busy Fred Meyer in Portland. And it just keeps stalling. And there's just like traffic behind me. It's a nightmare. And I get so once you get flustered and you don't know how to drive a stick, it gets worse.
Oh yeah.
And this guy starts road raging behind me and then runs. He's so upset, and he gets out of his car to come yell at me. And then he can just see that I'm having like a panic attack in my car, and he just was like, scoot over, and then taught me how to drive stick shift. Yeah. So all of my like stick shift knowledge since driving, it's all based on this mad strange man who taught me in a random parking lot. Yeah.
My
The
dad-
most
Oh.
stressful driving moment is your first hill and stop sign with the stick shift.
Yes.
I remember a very funny story your father told me years ago, Timmy, about, this was, well, the trip that he took to Italy with Michael and Tony.
Oh, yeah.
And
These are my brothers. Yeah.
those are Timmy's brothers, and Michael has Timmy has an older brother and a younger brother. And his older brother's an attorney, really successful guy. But and nice as can be, but your father was like, Michael is like, he's gonna want to drive the whole time we're there. He's gonna, and he said, but I know he can't drive. He doesn't do well with a stick shift. And so he said, he said it took me, how much time it took him to rent cars so that he could get a stick shift, which is really hard to do, is to get a manual transmission in a car rental. But he said, I paid plenty extra so that I could keep Michael from driving while we were over there.
My dad was like trying to play it off too, like they were getting no place, and he's like, "This is crazy. They're all stick shifts." Hey, everybody, we should move on to pose number 3. So you get the option of the last 2 images, whichever one you like. You could do both if you'd like as well. Please post your second drawing to Instagram now, though, with hashtag #DrawingHive and @VisualArtsPassage. Hit us up with a question. Somebody asked, "What's everybody working with tonight?" I was waiting to ask. Ray, obviously you're working in Photoshop. Are you using the Kyle Webster brushes like the other week, or?
Yep, the same one. Oil dry oil.
Cassandra,
simple.
yeah, go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
No, that's it. Yep.
Cassandra, what are you working with?
Oh, I'm doing an acrylic on cardboard that's treated with GAC 100.
Nice. And then do we have the pastel gang on the
We
bottom?
do have the pastel gang.
I kind of so wish I wasn't doing this in pastel.
I like that. It seems very different because of the flatness of the hat and stuff. That
Right.
I love the way you designed that piece.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
But the extremes of value shifts are not great for pastel. For me, I like, the subtlety of pastel. And that black against the pink, it keeps getting either washed out or not what I want, but
Yeah.
anyway. I could have been smarter with my choice, I guess.
Good piece.
Well, on
Plus,
that
I'm
note,
about to run out.
I don't know how to drive stick shift, guys. Okay, there, you had it.
We know.
We already knew that, right?
We know.
We appreciate your vulnerability, Ray.
We've
Thank
yeah,
you.
This
fessing
is a
up.
safe place, mostly.
I've driven in a stick shift. I've tried driving one. It was like driving like one of those old washers that have been over the like they get all like off centered and they start shaking violently. So that was basically
I feel bad for anybody that learned stick shift from a parent, because I remember how mad my dad was when he taught me to drive.
Oh yeah, my dad was terrible too.
My dad was awful. Oh my
Yeah.
God. It was the
My
worst.
dad was like, "Oh, we're in a parking lot, an empty parking lot," and my dad's like, "Oh, you would have killed somebody," and I was like, "There's no one here, and I'm still learning."
My dad was.
Why are you
just
gonna
so
put
stressed
what?
out about it.
My dad was upset with me when he took me to learn to drive the first time, and I was able to.
Oh,
He kind of looked at me and he said, "How much driving have you done at this point?" And I said, "Well, quite a bit."
would that have been
You're not always here, and the car's on.
the cars are.
That's great. My wife actually gave me my first and only stick shift lesson, and she
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
So you've
Thank
destroyed
goodness, because
stick shift.
Yeah. So after I went through my first 2 clutches, I retired from stick shifting.
I think just understanding first and second is the hardest. After that, it's way more comfortable.
Much easier.
My friend in Oregon, Aaron O'Connell, he doesn't know it, but I completely destroyed his clutch. It's
He knows it now.
Transmission, who needs that?
no, that car was being shared by quite a few people, but I for sure know that I was the one. There were too many instances of just like, they're never gonna know. Yeah. But now I think I'm pretty good at it, So
I just remember my dad was so stressed out. We were in a parking lot and he was freaking out and he kept getting more and more stressed because I kept stalling the car.
yeah.
And I got so tired of, I said, just let me drive the car home. And, so I drove the car home and I stalled it one more time. It was a Ford Courier pickup truck, a very old one. And I stalled it one more time and then it was fine. And I've driven stick shifts in San Francisco a lot.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
that's the ultimate. Are you good at stick shift moment?
Oh my God, it's crazy, and especially if you go down the wrong street and you're like, oh shit, this hill's really steep.
Well, what would be an interesting business model is like you rent out the driver teaching, like the cars that they use, like driving instructors use to parents. Because I think that's why parents get freaked out, is because it's probably kind of scary. I mean, what's that?
I said kinda.
Yeah.
I've got 3 kids how to drive and it's beyond scary.
Because you can't. Would that passenger brake have made it less scary?
Probably would have caused more accidents.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my business model would just be like, so how's business going, Timmy? Be like, well, everybody's wrecked our cars. So we're off to a bumpy start. Yeah.
We don't have any cars left.
Yeah. All the cars are totaled. Yeah.
My favorite story of my son learning how to drive is he got his license. He went through the whole bit. He's driving with me all the time. And we lived probably 5 blocks from his high school. And I got the first day he was going to drive like on the road with me in the car. He was going to drive to school. And we got in the car, got everything right, adjusted the mirrors. And he literally looked at me. He goes, which way do I go? I'm like, what do you mean? We go to school every day. You've been living here a very long time. And he goes, yeah, but I never paid attention to which I don't know how to get there. And I was just
So me.
I was just
so me.
absolutely amazed.
That's
It's
fun.
amazing.
I
That
do
is
not have a
amazing.
natural good sense of direction. So
I can
Yeah.
totally
Oh my
relate to
God.
that.
Yeah, reminds me of like Marshall Arizman. I read in a book that Marshall Arizman, for his history of illustration class, the final exam, he didn't tell any of his students when it was going to be on, but when they all sat down, he asked them to draw the front door of the building. And he said most of the students failed. He was like, they were putting doorknobs on them. And it's like, the door doesn't even have doorknobs.
That's hilarious.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Though.
Yeah.
That's a very Marshall story. I mean, I could see him doing that.
They're great. I love it.
Well, I don't want anybody to get me wrong. Bob Peak was a very nice man.
You still on that? You're so
I'm
The
still worried
tip
about
down of Bob Peak.
No, I'm cutting all these apologies out. So
Well, it's kind of funny because I was around like all of these artists that made up the Illustrators Workshop, which were, like the legendary illustrators of their time. And, I got a lot of backroom stories because some of it, they would gather at, my father's house, or I heard my dad talking about it with somebody or whatever. And they did argue a lot. And if there was an argument, Peak was probably going to be in the conversation. Let's put it that way. Well, he was a magnet.
You're talking about a group of very talented, probably pretty healthy egoed,
Oh, big time.
successful guys.
Oh yeah, that's what happened to the Illustrators Workshop, is they couldn't work together.
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of imploded.
Yeah, that's why it imploded. But the catch was they decided they were better friends than business partners, so they bailed.
I can totally.
Kept the friendships.
Wow,
Yeah,
it's actually probably good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, my dad's closest friends were Fred Ottness and Heindel and Bernie. And he didn't want to jeopardize that. Nobody wanted to. I wouldn't want it to.
no.
He's like, I would toast his friendship if it meant business with
You
I'll
remember
remember
Rolls
that.
Royces
Jimmy, I'm remembering that.
and scarves,
Scarves.
and scarves.
white driving
Well, I can
gloves
see
and white
scarves.
scarves.
I can see Bob Heindel and Bob Peak compared scarves. No, I'm totally kidding. I don't.
Scots and stuff.
Oh,
What a life.
it's the little things, right, Timmy?
It's the little things like the ascot. Ray, we're going someday. You and I'll go ascot shopping.
To match our
The
Aston
medium
Martins.
It's a shakedown.
Yeah.
I can't draw on this anymore. No, not too long.
I do have a question about anybody that, well, none of the panelists are tackling the Doja Cat image, but
Oh,
if,
I just finally put Erica Badu away. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna tackle her or not.
well, I just thought it's an interesting one to be like, how do you do it?
Which one is that?
The Swarovski, I don't know how to pronounce Swarovski crystals, the red crystals.
Guy. Let's do. I've had enough red.
John's advice.
I would look at the shadows. I mean, that's how I was kind of looking at the feathers in Erica Badu. Like you could think about it in the same way that first I did an underlay of like the shadow of like those shapes of where those are. And then you do the highlights on top. So like you can think of the jewels the same way. Like you see that underlying red of that deep kind of scarlet maroon. And then on top of that, you've got the highlights of the gems. And that's how I played it with the feathers. I think you could do it the same way.
I just ignored the woman. You're talking about the red woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was too much. I couldn't. I'd be here forever making little tiny.
I'll try. I don't know. I'll get 20 minutes.
Ray, I like your choice. I just think that's a great image and a beautifully lit head.
Oh,
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, it's a nice, beautiful photograph.
Really
Mhm.
is. So was the second pose. I thought that was beautifully lit also.
Mm-hmm.
The Erica
some good
Badu one is just the
photography.
coolest, though. I couldn't get past that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's it, Erica Badu? You know.
She's just cool always.
See that?
You remind me of oh my,
I'm sorry.
ooh, who's the the famous French fashion illustrator? Oh my God, Eric. Oh,
Maybe chime in.
it's gonna dry.
French.
I only know a couple of French illustrators, and none of them are fashion illustrators. So I'm no help.
It's like an easy Google. Garance Doré. Solange Debies. just get dead silence.
So,
You get just
I know.
don't
I
know.
thought that I would have gotten some help.
I got nothing.
Oh
Renee,
God.
wow,
You know
Renee. It's Renee.
Renee
Yes,
Booth?
Renee. Sorry.
Renee Grau.
Yes, yes.
Gary
Renee,
wrote it. I think he wins.
Yep. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I said it before Gary wrote
Yep.
it. Thanks.
I told Gary. That's why. No, okay.
Okay, so what's up with Renee?
I would have thought that the
I didn't spend so much time digging up this name for you, Raymond.
well, the Erica Badu thing, dress up, it just reminded me of like, I wish I was that good to tackle that. Is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Don't listen to me. I don't know how to drive stick shift. Don't trust anything I say. And I'm losing my hair, so I don't even have that.
So Ray, I gotta ask you, are you gonna be pulling for us on Super Bowl Sunday? Are you
John, I've got nothing. I've just got nothing left.
got
I've got
nothing left.
nothing left.
I went
Nothing
to the
left.
game.
I will be watching the PGA that night.
Okay.
Who are you guys playing?
No, I'm joking.
I
You were at the game?
I was at the game and it was when we got there, it was 16 degrees. And it got a little bit colder. It was a cold game.
John's a pretty diehard fan. He blew out his ankle just out of solidarity with.
I did just to I wanted to feel what Mahomes was going through. And so yesterday, I have a low ankle sprain. He's got a high ankle sprain.
When
So
is
it's
actual
not
Super Bowl
completely-
Sunday?
Not this weekend, the next weekend.
Who are the Chiefs
No,
playing?
Cincinnati
the
Bengals.
Eagles.
Oh, I'm.
Oh,
No,
shit.
the Eagles.
No, I'm so sorry. They played the Cincinnati.
Who are they?
They're doing a do-over game.
They're doing, yeah. They're playing, yeah, they're playing the Eagles.
So I'm rooting for you.
Oh,
I am too.
I got no.
Ray's not. He wants revenge.
No, I don't want the Eagles. I don't know. I'm watching the PGA that night.
My best buddy growing up is a big Eagles fan, so we've been having fun. The last
Oh
time
my
the Eagles
God.
went to the Super Bowl, he went.
Oh, that's cool.
He's
Really?
a
Wow.
dedicated fan. He might be going to this one too. I don't know.
Wow.
Where is the Super Bowl located this year?
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I would love for it to turn out, like wrestling. Ray, you're a big wrestler fan, right? Wrestling.
I
fan.
mean, like I had my time. I had my time where I was one. Yes.
How thrilling would it be if it turned out that we all learned that football was fake?
They've been saying that for years.
That was scripted.
There's
Yeah.
a couple of games
would
I
say-
thought so.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's
were
like,
you
oh,
gonna say-
man. There's some Cincinnati fans right now, and they're not very happy with the refs in the Chiefs game.
Oh, man.
Listen, I'd be lying to you if I told you when I walked into the restaurant to pick up my order, my takeout order, that the proprietor of the restaurant was throwing around a lot of theories in that regard. But I would agree with you after the Bills
Yeah.
lost.
When the Bills lost.
Sure does fit the NFL's narrative pretty well.
Yeah. It's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Like
We would
Red
want Buffalo to
Yarn.
win.
He's got like a wall of photos and red yarn and yeah,
Yeah.
it all makes sense. My favorite year of the NFL was when the refs went on strike and all those guys.
Those backups, yeah. Oh my god.
refs were
Yeah,
like-
there's this one. Was it the Green Bay Packers game where it was like there was a famous photo of like somebody catching the ball and there's two reps right there, and one of them is saying incomplete and the other one's saying touchdown, and they're literally next to each other. I love the replacement ref era. That's great stuff.
Well, how about the replacement player here? That was, I thought, the most interesting. Stabs. People wouldn't cross the picket line. I mean, there was some interesting stuff going on there.
What year was that?
Also made a great movie starring
I don't
Keanu Reeves.
know. It's all a blur to me.
I know, but was it?
It was a long time ago. It was
Okay.
20 plus years ago.
Cassandra beat me to that, by the way.
Thank you. I
But
mean,
it's
Gene
what-
Hackman and Keanu Reeves. It was great.
Oh, that's right. That goofy movie.
Yeah, well, I looked up some of the stuff and it was true. Like they did get a guy early released from jail to play for them. Like there was like some crazy stuff that went down.
Yeah, a goofy documentary, John.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine the NFL getting somebody released from prison early? That would never happen.
There was that. Do you remember that? It was like it's like a juvie prison, that fake high school that had played on, it got on like national TV. They were playing like another high school, and they found out that it was fake. And it was actually like
I don't know what you're talking
kids from. It was, oh my god! It was like, all right, I'll send everyone the.
Yeah, now I gotta know.
about. Yeah, I got to know about this. This is interesting.
Team, boom, fake high school football team. They got onto ESPN. It was a game, and it was called Bishop Sycamore High School. And they found out, they like, the announcers like, we know not much is known about Bishop Sycamore. They have this coach, and they got blown out. And they were like, who are these people? And it was this whole thing, this whole like conspiracy of like how they got on. And it was like they faked their way into.
Did the people
Go
exist?
ahead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were playing. There were players and everything like that. Timmy, I'll just send you the.
Were they like grown men or like?
So is the movie a documentary or like a
Man.
That was
There
very
it is.
suspicious to me.
When I went to a high school that had an insane football program, and when I was a senior, our high school, or like a junior, our high school was named the most athletic high school in America by
whoa.
Sports Illustrated, I guess.
What?
Yeah, but I played football there, and it was like when I was a freshman, I remember just being like, it was just like I was in a car accident every day. It was awful. Yeah, it was terrible. And I had
Again, as a parent, I'd be horrified with you. And then you would stumble into your car and then drive home.
It is not good. I would never. I'm like, if I had a kid, I would not let them play. Like, no, I was getting, but also that I don't think that kids hit each other in practice now like they used to when I was a kid. But man, it was just like, it was rough and tumble. but yeah, I remember I was in a practice once and I kicked we were just goofing around. I kicked an extremely far field goal. And it was one of those moments where the coach saw it and was like, who is that kid?
Wow.
It was that far and it was like that good of a kick. And it was just one of the most inconvenient, like lucky things that's ever happened to me, where I kicked like 3 more in a row. It was the worst thing that could ever happen. Because then they were like, oh, this kid's a machine. Let's set him up with an opportunity to humiliate himself.
Oh my God.
Oh no, Timmy.
Yeah, so I got positioned. I got like a game field goal, and it was just like one of those like worm burner kicks where you just like
Timmy.
top of it, and it like hits a guy like a lineman in the back of the head. It was gnarly. It was really bad. Yeah, I
so wish Chris Payne was here right now.
Yeah,
Chris still, I mean, he held records for his kicking in high school football in the state of Ohio for a long time. He was a really good high school kicker. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I was too in
there you
practice.
go.
I'm so sorry, man. Oh,
Yeah, that's a, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders in that case.
No, nobody should have.
oh.
Well, we saw him do it 4 times, so I'm pretty sure he's good. You know,
Oh God.
yeah.
We're on the 1 yard line. Man, let's just kick it. The kid's got it. We got an ace in the hole.
Machine.
Yeah, machine. It's just a
We can't lose.
Yeah, the only thing go wrong is he might deflate the ball with how great he kicks it.
You went deflated.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm
There's
so
a,
sorry. Yeah.
There's a if anybody's looking for cool imagery, you bring it up like high school football. There's a very small. It's not even a documentary. It's like kind of like a feature, like a 10-minute little doc, like behind the scenes, and it's of this high school in, I think it's in New Mexico or Arizona, and it's the only high school that plays on a field that has no grass. It's just dirt. And the team is called the Sandmen, which is just a great name for a football team.
Wow.
But this person made this little doc, and it's the imagery, and it's really cool. They did a really good job lighting it. It's really beautiful. But if you're looking for cool stuff,
Then Netflix.
no, it's just on YouTube or Vimeo, maybe.
All right. Okay, I gotta look that up. Just in. It's called the Forest Lawn Museum, Art Museum in Glendale, California. Just to
I can see that.
just
So
to
what
let
is-
everyone
what
know.
is that?
So that's the one where the peak. I saw the peak
The
exhibit in the
posters?
Bouguereaus. Yeah,
Up and
I
in.
sent everyone the link to that.
What was the name of the hotel that had the in San Francisco that had the big parish?
Pied Piper?
The Pied Piper one.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God, what's that hotel? I used to see it all the time on Montgomery.
Check pile took me there.
It's moved though.
Well, this way.
They moved the mural?
I don't think it's there anymore. I think the bar's gone.
Yeah, well, it was there, and they had just remodeled it when I was there.
Oh.
That was 2007, so a while ago.
Palace Hotel, yeah.
No, the palace.
That right there.
I'm
And
going there just to see the mural and hang out and.
yeah,
drink.
they took it down in 2013 and they hired Christie's to oversee the sale for it.
Yeah, I don't, it's like, that's one of those random pieces of knowledge that I don't know why that's. In my brain, but
It's Maxville Parish. That's right.
actually there you go. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that thing was crazy.
Oh,
I actually
God,
spent
so
the
beautiful.
it was me, Leslie, Ted,
Leslie Herman.
and Leslie Herman,
Oh,
Ted Kinsella,
the old King Cole.
yep, and Scott, yeah, and Scott Anderson. We all like ended our night, and Ted's dad was there, and we all ended our night by the King Cole mural, parish mural. I was like, man, what a way to end a wonderful night with illustrators, you know.
Yeah, really.
Where's
used
that?
It's at the very famous hotel. The bar in the
St. Regis.
St. Regis Hotel. Yep.
Yeah. It was nice. That was a nice bar.
John, how many visual arts passage students have been intertwined with the Society of Illustrators this past year? Like quite a few, right?
A lot. Actually.
If anybody's wondering, that's John and I's art school online. That's what kind of pseudo hosts this.
Well, not pseudo. It's does host it.
But it's been pretty awesome seeing VAP students posting photos. First of all, it's like you know what? I'd almost call it like a VAP meetup. Like,
Well, it was, Dale Stefano sent me a picture with, Marion Martinsik, Laura Safina, and, AJ.
That's
Oh
awesome.
man, that's so awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's so fun.
And they all had work in the show.
Didn't Don Kilpatrick get a gold medal this year?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, but we're not mentioning it because we don't want it to go to his head.
It already has. What do you mean? He didn't show up here to your
Yeah,
presentation? He
that's
showed
right.
up. but
He did,
it's like,
yeah.
"Oh, it's just Ray. I gotta leave."
Yeah.
I have some grading to do, so I'm just gonna get out of here.
I have a
Yeah,
gold
double
medal.
booked, man. Yeah, I gotta go, man.
I don't need to show up
What do you
there.
mean grading? I'm
everybody,
talking to your class.
this is the 5-minute warning on this.
It's
And we're totally teasing Don because Don's awesome.
yeah, we love.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, like he posted his medal, but he didn't post the piece. So I wanted to see the piece that he.
Oh, I
Oh,
saw
it was like it was a whole series.
Yeah, series of his squash stuff.
Oh, awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
stuff.
there's like
Yeah.
cityscapes.
God, I love those things. Those are beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was working on that when he was on with us.
Favorite.
Yeah. He by the way, he told me to tell you, I'd be remiss if I forgot to tell everyone that he's trying to get back. Like he really misses everyone.
oh, good.
That's not gonna happen.
Just tell him
Yeah,
that
it's like-
okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I was
not
like, hey, we're kind of booked up. We're not looking for any new people, new panelists. Don, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Tell him those
Where
are
you
just
go.
words.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
No.
He'll back up
No, we would love to have Don back.
right after.
As long as he makes those shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, did you see like he posted this picture where he's wearing shoes he made and a shirt he's green printed? I was like, so what are you making your pants? Like that's all you're missing, man. Just pants.
Yeah, I know, right? Jeez.
That's
Pants.
funny, Cassandra. It's like, what else you got?
I was like, I mean, step it up, man. Right now your outfit is incomplete.
I would love if he made cargo shorts.
Don's gonna retire and move to a villa and make shoes with
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
As his neighbor.
That's funny.
Heating makers.
Like
You know,
bond while cobbling.
It's funny. I met a shoemaker in one of my last trips to New York City. He was a friend of a friend, and I had mentioned Don, and he knew who he was because of his shoes. I was like, wow, man. I forgot to tell Don that because Don had apprenticed with he had done a workshop with like a really famous Japanese
Yeah.
shoemaker, and he knew that. Like he was like, oh yeah, I follow that. I follow that illustrator, on Instagram, which I thought was pretty cool. So then I took his phone and I hit unfollow right away. I was like, I'm doing yourself. You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if Don will ever open up a shoe shop.
Or come back, because he's definitely not coming back after this episode.
Yeah. We'll put this one in the vault.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you've run out of space.
Everybody, the clock's ticking.
Oh, I wanted to mention before I forgot, for anybody that's going to listen to, because you've got Jack Cooper on Saturday, right, as a guest speaker.
Yeah, we've got, well, the way our Visual Arts Passage mentorship program works out right now, we're in the full swing of the winter semester. So if you're in the program, but if you're not in the program, classes are running right now. And this coming weekend it's kind of fun. We've synced up all of our programs to where they all have guest speakers the same weekend. And so it's like a guest speaker extravaganza. It's kind of, so it's Ja Cooper and Ben Ernst, right, John?
Yeah, Ben Ernst, the character designer extraordinaire
Whoa.
from Blizzard Games.
That's this weekend?
That's this weekend. And then Monday
Oh
night,
my God.
Ray, just to remind you, Monday night, we're on for Monday night, right?
Oh
What?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No,
Ray's
no, yeah,
gonna-
yeah.
Ray's
I
gonna
have
talk
it on
with
my
me
calendar.
on Monday night.
Yeah, we've got some fun stuff planned for John's artist spotlight, which if you like free stuff, that's on Mondays, but we're gonna get pretty creative with it. I'm excited about it.
I'm ecstatic. This is going to be like the stuff that was too hot for Drawing Hive. You know, you're going to hear all the
Well, no,
stories.
we've been talking about ways to make it kind of cool and like involve some people that typically, you know, you can't get online for like a whole month or something, you know, and or you know, I'm not gonna say we've got anybody nailed down exactly yet because we don't, but some people that are maybe hard to get in a Zoom room because of the devices that they own, or maybe they're still on that flip.
Because of their flip phones and
Flip phone doesn't support Zoom.
So John's going to be putting some miles on his car, basically, is what we're.
No,
we're
we're
saying.
going to do some cool phone calls. I think it's going to be really awesome. I'm excited about it.
Oh, great. Okay, cool.
Hopefully we got some of that stuff in store. Something to be excited.
There was a time where I thought John must have put like 5,000 miles on his car in like a 3-month span with all the driving he was doing to set up.
yeah, I can get Mr. Blackshear.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll send you art. What's funny about that is the fact that we're sending a technician to support an artist and that our technician is John.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
That was more of an emotional support technician, wasn't it?
I don't really see the humor in that, but that's all right.
No, I'm just talking about your software skills.
I'm kidding.
John, you run a Zoom room great now.
Well, there's nothing to run. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
No, I was laughing because I was like, John, I remember I was like, John, what are you doing this weekend? Well, I'm driving to Colorado, and I'm like, wait, what? Yep. And then I'm driving back after that, and then I'm going to drive back up again.
Yep.
That was also like
worth every minute.
Yeah, that was also
Oh
like
my God. Was it?
tail end of the pandemic. So it'd be like, I guess we're gonna wear masks and just like kind of stay far away from each other in the hotel room.
Yeah. But like it was so good. I'm talking about it because I just rewatched it again.
Did you
It's
really?
so good.
So
Oh yeah, I love it.
I'll tell this story real quickly because it was my favorite part of that whole thing was I get out there and Tom Blackshear, artist extraordinaire. This guy's amazing.
So good.
And
Hall of Fame illustrator.
Yeah, Hall of Fame illustrator, just awesome guy, just fantastic artist. So I'm excited to see him. I've known him for a long time, and we start talking and we start going through, like, we're looking through his flat files, pulling out things. I'm photographing, go, oh, this is going to be so great. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. And it's probably like 1:15. And I look at him and go, oh, it's getting pretty late. Let me just check your connections and everything. And we're in a studio. And he's like, okay. And so I set up and get the camera set up and and I said, what's your password? And he has this really funny look on his face. It's like, I know something's wrong. He goes, when we did all that testing and we got online, how we were going to do that, I was at my house. And I'm like, okay, we got everything. I said, so what's the password here? And he goes, I don't have Wi-Fi here. So
Oh
I'm like,
no.
okay. And I said, so like,
John's just like, this is totally fine. This is totally fine.
yeah. Like, and my wife went out there with me. And so I get back to the hotel. It's like 2:00 in the morning. And she's asleep. And I wake her up and I said, I hate to tell you this, but you're going to have to like get up at like 8:00 in the morning and you're going to have to get out of here. She goes, what are you talking about? I said, you're gonna have to leave because I'm taking and I took the furniture that was in the hotel room and put it on the balcony. It was like a patio, but I put it out like, I mean, lots of stuff like desk, and I turned the bed against the wall, like laid up against the wall. And then I set up all the cameras and everything, and he did the demo and everything from the hotel room.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
And it was
Huh?
awesome. Absolutely.
That
awesome.
is a technician supreme. That's why they send you out there, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Everybody,
Wow.
I just want to remind you, please post your work, post it now, post it immediately, because
Yeah, I think I've watched that one twice too. It's so good.
please get it up. Hashtag Drawing Hive and at Visual Arts Passage. I'm gonna open up Instagram in like 60 seconds. Forgot to remind you.
Oh,
So it's on you. What's that?
I was gonna say real quick, I don't know if anybody listens to the podcast Art Affairs, but I think it's episode 24. He interviews Jock Cooper, and it's a really great interview. So if you want to like listen to something ahead of time before seeing her like talk here, it was a great episode.
Nice. Cassandra, I wanted to say that your Studio Bridge episode was awesome. And like,
Oh,
for those of you that are like thinking about just the gallery program too, like that's a great introduction to like just a small taste, I think, of like the things you'd expect from the commercial gallery program.
We're having a
Just
great
throwing it
deal
out
of
there.
fun, Ray, with the program right now. It's new and it's pretty fresh. I think we're doing the right things. And can you imagine that Cassandra's a really good teacher?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that?
Who would have thought?
well, Ray, were your ears burning? Because we were saying nice things about you on Sunday about like how great your portrait to pixels class was and how talented you were. So
See, I never get this. I asked John if there was any feedback, and he was like, "Nope, crickets. I'm sorry, I don't know."
you know,
Only-
John
only
did
when the
great class
Bills are
last
playing.
Sunday. So
Yeah.
You know, this was
That's
completely opposite from the first thing I was doing. I had a lot of fun doing this. Pretty crude, but it was a lot more fun.
and we have Scott Anderson wrapped up the last
Yeah, he was
last
great.
Monday. That was fun. That was great. I watched a little bit of it. And it was fantastic.
I haven't gotten
What a pro.
that one yet.
That's nice, Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bill.
That's
Thank
really
you.
nice, Bill.
Thank you. Wow.
Oh man, Cassandra, you tackled it.
Well, I haven't gotten to any of the texture yet. I'm still getting her features figured out.
Well, I didn't get anywhere with my last one either, but I had fun getting the setup done. The drawing aspect of it.
Yeah, ditto. I would just take one of those rollers, you know, those like
The brayer.
the muscle rollers. No, you know, the ones like you use after
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
run or something like that. Just fill that thing with red paint and just roll that thing right over it.
Yeah, that
Bubble
might get
wrap.
over too faster.
Boom, bubble wrap. Thank you,
Bubble
Bill.
wrap.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
just like yep. Get some good texture.
Yeah.
It's like if any one of us knows how to get texture from like unconventional places, it'd be Bill.
Yeah.
I have used bubble wrap in my paintings.
Oh
Okay.
man, look at this stuff.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't brush down. Oh my gosh.
I would do one more last refresh and then let's go.
This is gonna be good. I can tell.
Yeah. Whoa.
Wow.
Wow, that's nice. Nice
at that.
job.
Beautiful job.
Nice.
Nice.
There we go.
See some new artists with us tonight.
Ooh,
Nice
that's
one. That's
lovely.
great.
Are we still accepting new artists, Timmy?
Nice,
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Oh,
Nice.
that's
There
cool.
you go.
Look at that.
Oh, there you
Ooh, good job.
Very nice.
You got a good red there.
That's it. You know, that one took a lot of thought. I mean, it's hard to organize that piece.
Nice. Great texturing of the feathers too.
Wow.
Wow.
Thanks,
That's
Emma.
nice too. There we go.
Very fun.
Oh, that's cool. Nice, Jeff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Devin. Stellar.
That's
Gosh,
nice.
the tie there. Oh, lovely. Oh, that's
Oh, there
fun.
you go.
There you go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's
Is
some
that
mix-
glue? Like, what did
Whoa.
you put down? Is that glue?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's so cool.
No, it's Doja Cat, right? Jimmy corrected me earlier.
There you go. You see,
That's
I should have done that.
cool.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
awesome.
Should have done.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yep.
love how you handled those feathers.
Love that one
Nice,
too,
Charlotte.
man.
Very
Good
good.
job.
Oh, whoa.
Nice.
Yeah. See, that's great. Nice solution to that.
Mhm.
There it is. Look at that. Felicity is like,
All
yeah, no
right,
problem. I'm gonna take
Felicity.
the hardest one. Don't worry,
Crush
John
it.
and Ray. You just sit down. Don't worry.
Oh, I love that.
Xander.
Look at that one. Look
Really
at
good.
Xander, man. Oh
Really
man.
good.
Nailed the values. Oh,
I
that's
love it,
great.
Marcy.
Marcy, yeah.
Oh, God, that's awesome. That last one was beautiful too.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Good
Yeah,
job.
that's cool.
Nice.
Nice, Leslie.
Oh, cool.
Good job, Sienna.
That's Sienna's on it. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
There,
Look at that.
Randy, too.
Nice, Randy.
They were right up the gut. It was just like, wow.
Ooh,
Oh,
We could skip that, Gary. Okay.
now I
Gary-
feel really lame for not doing any of the texture.
Gary's
No, I
purposely, what's he misspelling everything? What is this, English major? What's going on?
That's the only thing I
Nice
can
one, Gary.
conceive
You
of.
really
That's
stuck it
just
to me.
beautiful.
You really stuck it.
Oh, that last one was cool. Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah,
This
Gary
one's
actually
great,
wasn't
too.
even-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whoa, what was that one?
That's cool.
No, you could skip it. You could skip it. You could
Hey,
skip it. That's
Gary.
fine.
Good job.
That would have come across so personal.
I know, right? Oh man, that's great.
Nice. Good
Try to
job.
be-
Gary said, damn you autocorrect.
Oh, that's fun.
Ooh,
Whoa.
cool.
That's fun.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
I have to get to the texturing. I've not gotten to that yet.
all
Good
of them,
job,
all of them
Jeff.
in one page. Yep.
It's just
Good
half of
line.
it.
There you're at.
Oof.
Oh, nice.
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 Ooh,
Oh wow.
beautiful textures. Those hints of
Wow.
green are lovely. Good job.
Anybody that,
Wow.
thank you, anybody who is their first time with us. It's awesome when you share your work.
Mm-hmm. Nice, Julian.
Nice, Julian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these people. There you go.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
cool.
That's so cool.
Oh my gosh, I
Who
love
let,
how you
who let
handled
Victor
that.
in? Who let Victor in?
Yeah.
That's so
Oh,
good.
that was so
Yeah.
good.
Like, that's
That's
my
great.
like.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Victor, we're not going to accept that as a class assignment.
Yeah.
He's in the portfolio class with Dale and I. Just doing beautiful.
Really great
stuff.
piece.
Does these daily exercises every day, and you're just like, damn.
Oh my God, he's
Yeah.
so versatile too.
Good piece.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
That's
Wow.
fun.
Look at that
That's
one.
cool.
It's like Bob Pica's.
Beautiful, Karen. I love that.
That's nice.
Oh, that is beautiful. Nice, Nicole.
Nice.
Love it.
That's cool.
Ooh, good
Nice
job,
arms, too.
Jen.
Wow.
Jen, really great work.
Ooh, that's very cool.
Nice.
Nice attitude.
Good job.
Oh, wow.
Love it.
I
That's
like
lovely.
that drawing.
Mm.
Again, a lot of different interpretations.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
Cool, Charlotte. Nice.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's really
Yep.
cool. Oh, Jeff. So good. How did you get so many
That was
diamonds?
great. That was really great. I like that piece of Jeff's.
Oh, man.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Wow.
That's just 3D. It pops off the
It does look
page.
3D, doesn't it? I was gonna say
Yeah,
that. That's crazy.
Really cool.
that's really cool. Nice. You guys got your red better than mine. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, you see, that's it right there.
Nice.
Wow.
Ooh.
Even those.
Oh, I
Wow.
love that.
I love the red figure.
Oh, that, yeah. They're all cool, but the red one is my favorite.
Now, if you could make that work as an approach to illustration, that's something
Yeah, that's cool. Good job.
beautiful. to
Nice.
I want to get that hat.
It's a statement.
Already
It's a
ordered.
statement case for share for you, Timmy.
You could advertise on that hat.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I will say this.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me an egg timer for drawing. So next week, it took 3 years. We're gonna have an egg timer.
God.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Ooh, really well
Nice,
handled.
Jeff.
I want to
Crazy.
like drive it to Kansas City and just take that egg timer away from you, Timmy. I don't want that to exist.
Timmy's willing the revolt. He's willing it. He wants the uprise to happen.
He's
He doesn't
asking
want to be
for it.
host anymore.
You know,
Great piece.
if we run this right, this show's gonna be over. Like, it's gonna be a 30-minute show.
Oh, great job.
That's great.
Oh, fun.
There it
Great.
is.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's really fun.
There it
And
is. Yeah.
Heart by Sinkhole. I just love the names. It's just great. Ooh.
What?
Give that a heart. That gets
Jeez.
my heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Love it.
Wow.
I'm trying to see what the what it.
Just to do that in such a short period of time,
Is
too.
that like a wine glass?
That's what I thought it was. I couldn't tell.
What is a wine glass?
I think it is.
Is that like a top of a cup for the eye? I don't know. It's like, oh,
They're
so
looking
fun.
straight down at a cup on the left eye.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? Wow, that's fun.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh,
Yes.
There you go.
So cool. So
Dude.
cool.
2 likes tonight. Nice.
there we go.
That's fun.
Yep.
Nice, Jen.
Yep.
I'm
Awesome.
just telling myself, why didn't I work on a piece of black paper?
That's myself the same thing. I want to just
I should have just.
Work on a
I'm
black
not going to get the black chalk.
Oh,
up.
fun.
Nice.
Great.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
What? These are great too.
Nice.
Mm,
Good job, Galen.
nice. Ooh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Xander.
nice
Ooh.
too.
That's a good one.
Wow.
So is that.
Wow.
Ooh, wow.
There
Nice,
it is.
Nicole.
I love
it.
that.
I do too.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, that one too.
Well, that's a
Yep.
good one.
oh, great piece.
Well drawn.
Oh,
That's great.
There we go. Yeah.
I didn't notice the ring. Is that a ring?
Yeah, yeah.
I drew the ring.
Ooh, I love that.
That's the way to handle that.
Yep.
Nice, Ocean.
And
Oh,
that
that's
too.
cool.
Yeah. That was a nice one.
Mhm.
well,
Good one, Jeff.
So good.
drawn and quarter.
Nice.
Very nice, Nicole.
That has a really great silhouette too.
Ooh,
That's
That one
nice.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's neat.
That's killer.
oh my God, that's
Wow.
That one too. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
know, right?
lovely. Lovely.
Yeah.
Don't abuse the hashtag.
Ah, last week.
All right, that was
Such a great
awesome.
piece.
Well, Bill, Cassandra, Ray, Timmy, thank you so much. It was a very fun night.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome,
Thank you.
awesome work, everybody. Did some beautiful drawings.
Happy
And
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. Tune in Monday for Ray's talk with John. It'll be fun.
that's right.
Yes.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
We're gonna get into the, we're gonna get in deep with Ray. Gonna hear.
Yeah, if you like Howard Stern, you're gonna
Yeah.
love.
Are you gonna make him cry? Like have an emotional moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will make John cry. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
and
sure
Timmy.
you will.
All right,
Doesn't take much, Ray.
all right. If you want to see Raymond make John cry, tune in Monday night.
All right. See you, everybody.
Take
Have a
care,
good night.
everyone.
Bye.